Thank you, Mrs. Coleman and students, for that beautiful song. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I introduce this year's guest speaker, Mr. Jerry Fork. Jerry Fork graduated from Gibsonburg High School in June 1979 and was the president of his class. He enlisted in the United States Air Force in July 1979 and served until September 1983. He then transferred into the Ohio Air National Guard and was stationed at the 179th Airlift Wing, Mansfield, Ohio, for the remainder of his 26-year military career. Jerry obtained the enlisted rank of Master Sergeant before being selected to be commissioned as a second lieutenant personnel officer in the 1994. Jerry ascended to the rank of major. Upon his retirement in August 2005, he served as the base director of personnel and commander of the 179th Mission Support Flight. His decorations include the 2 Meritorious Service Medals, 4 Air Force Commendation Medals, and 4 Air Force Achievement Medals. He graduated from Bowling Green State University in August of 1992, cum laude, with a Bachelor of Science degree in Education, Secondary Social Studies. He also holds an Associate of Applied Science degree from the Community College of the Air Force in Personnel Administration. Jerry has been a licensed FAA private pilot for over 40 years and also flies a powered parachute, of which I, like many others, have enjoyed watching fly over our homes. Jerry has been driving a school bus and a substitute teacher for Gibsonburg schools for the past 8 years, and he recently donated an interactive monitor in the main hallway as a way to organize Gibsonburg historical information and extend his genuine love of Gibsonburg schools. Please help me welcome Mr. Jerry Fork.
Staff here at Gibsonburg for extending an invitation for me to speak to the graduating class of 2022. I know the graduates here are anxious to get out that door and celebrate your accomplishments, and for the many times I've sat on those bleacher seats, I know your family and friends are anxious as well to get out that door too. So I'll stick to the 3 B's of public speaking by being brief, being to the point, and being gone. I have no recollection of who my graduation speaker was 43 years ago, nor anything that they had to say. I, like Morgan, was probably a little too nervous and too focused on giving my farewell address to the class of 79 as the president. While I didn't keep a copy of my speech, I do remember telling the class that our learning would no longer be confined to the 4 walls of Gibsonburg High School, but it would continue forward, with the whole world becoming our classroom. Teachers would be replaced with professors, supervisors, trainers, managers, and master craftsmen. And the same holds true today. I hope you didn't assume that your graduation ends here today, because graduation is really when education begins. That's why this is called a commencement ceremony. It's the beginning, it's the start. One of the important lessons of obtaining a high school diploma is not just what you have learned, but that you can learn. Some of you may be a little apprehensive about stepping outside that door. If you pay attention to the news in the world today, it's a pretty crazy place out there. Rising inflation, gas prices, interest rates, political and social disorder, world conflicts. Add to all that the recent pandemic and the ill effects it has caused on society. It's completely understandable that you may be a little hesitant. But don't worry, it was the same back in the 70s during my graduation. The United States and Russia were at the height of the Cold War. Mutual assured destruction was the nuclear, military, and national security policy. We had inflation, or as they called it back then, stagflation. Interest rates soared as high as 18%. Our president came on TV from the Oval Office wearing a sweater and told Americans to turn down their thermostat to 68 degrees to conserve energy. There were gas shortages, and long lines at filling stations, and odd and even license plate days to get fuel. I remember being in study hall in the old school when I was in the 7th grade, and our science teacher, Mr. Barker, was the monitor. Now, back in those days, we didn't have cell phones to communicate with each other. We had to pull out a pencil and a paper and write down a note, fold it up, and try to pass it secretly without getting caught. Of course, passing a note in study hall was not allowed. Unfortunately, Mr. Barker saw my attempt to pass a note to a friend and asked me to come forward with it. When I walked up there, he opened my note, and it read, "Eat beans, America needs the gas." He didn't seem to find as much humor as I did, though, and gave me a choice of either receiving a detention or coming to his classroom after school and listening to him lecture on the human digestive system. I opted for the detention. I had a chance to look at the program, and I like the class motto you have chosen. Our memories of yesterday will last a lifetime. We'll take the best, forget the rest, and someday find that these are the best of times. I can assure you, your school years are among the best times of your life. We take for granted seeing everyone every day for years, passing in the halls or spending time together in classrooms or in lunchroom. I want you to look around right now at your fellow classmates and savor this moment, because I can assure you, you will never, ever again be gathered together as you are today at this moment in time. I know the past couple of years have been a challenge with the pandemic for spending time with each other. The most distance learning and social distancing we had was during the blizzard of '78. We missed out on about 2 weeks of school. I hope you all can maintain the class unity going forward. Morgan, I know you may not have thought of this when you were elected as class president last year, but you are the president for life. And as a result, you have a responsibility to try to hold class reunions. And I really encourage you to try to hold them every 5 years if you can. The class of '79 has held them every 5 years since we graduated. I know you'll never get everyone back, but it's so nice to stay in touch and reminisce with those that do. It doesn't have to be fancy. Our first 5-year reunion was held in a newly constructed farm shop at the home of one of our classmates, Tim Reed. God rest his soul. Just a half a mile from here around the corner from the Hungry Bear. We had about 50 of our 110 graduates attend. Our class literally left our mark that night on the shop. Having some leftover money, we decided to purchase some boxes of champagne that they had on sale at the drive-thru carryout next to the Hungry Bear. We purchased a bottle for each classmate. Later that night, we passed out the bottles and opened them simultaneously, and the corks shot straight into the ceiling and put about 50 indentations in the ceiling. From what I understand, they remain there today. I hope after graduation, as Golden Bear alums, you will consider giving back to the school like so many have done before you. Think of the many alums who may have impacted your life during your school years. Our great administrators, teachers, and other paid support staff can't do it alone. It takes the whole village to make a great school. Think about all those non-paid volunteers who gave their time and skills to coach or mentor, direct, chaperone, or labor to make your school experience more enjoyable and more memorable. But you say, Jerry, I don't have any of those talents or skills. Well, can you sit and clap? Can you sit in the audience and cheer? Remember hearing and appreciating the roar of the crowd or loud applause when you all performed, whether you played a sport, acted on stage, played in a band, sang in a choir, or received an award or recognition. Applauding and encouraging those who compete, who take risks, who work as a team, who experience the ups and downs of success and failure, sacrifice and train, who improve physically and academically, and who act and speak publicly. That's what America is all about. If we're going to change this country for the better, It sure isn't going to come from the top down from our elected leaders, but from the bottom up. And it starts right here, right now, locally in our schools. Even if you don't plan on staying in the local area, you can still donate to the booster clubs or to the Gibsonburg Educational Foundation for scholarships. As we'll see here today, they have handed out thousands of dollars in scholarship money to deserving graduates. Well, here's an even better idea. Someday maybe you can become a school bus driver. It'll keep you on your toes and your skills sharp, like self-discipline and self-control. You're trying to get a kindergartner to stay in his seat and behave, and he looks you in the eye and says, "You don't know me." Or your quick thinking skills when you drive by the Zion Lutheran Church and you open remark, "That's my church." And a questioning voice from a few seats back says, "Jerry, that's my church too. How come I never see you there?" Regardless of how you become involved, I can assure you that nothing satisfies and gives a greater return on your time and effort as when you help other people achieve their best. Now, some of you know exactly what you want to do. Some of you think you know what you want to do, and some of you have no clue as to what you want to do. And to that latter group, I want to say it's okay. It took me a few years after graduation to finally settle on a specific course of direction going forward. I know the last 12 years have molded and shaped you into who you are today, but don't let it define you going forward. I know those school years might have left some scars on you, but the life in front of you is much more important than the life behind you. I was your average student in high school, B's and C's. My career track was vocational agricultural education. I didn't see myself ever attending college. I guess I made the mistake of comparing myself to other smarter classmates and convinced myself that I could never measure up. I wasn't athletic, didn't play sports or a musical instrument, but I enjoyed the theater and taking leadership positions in FFA, student body, and as a class officer. My senior year, I decided to enlist in the Air Force because I wanted to serve my country, be around aircraft and travel. I purposely chose the field of personnel because I enjoyed helping other people. But regardless of whatever the future held for me, I knew the experience of 4 years in the Air Force would be an excellent, solid foundation to build upon going forward. And the same is true for you. The key in the days and the months ahead is that you don't just spend time doing stuff, but invest your time in something that will give a return and make you a better person going forward. If you merely take a temporary job, make some money, or get some experience until you figure out exactly what you want to do, be on time, do what you say you're going to do, be dependable, not unpredictable, be passionate, don't have a passive, careless attitude. Like the legendary coach Lou Holt says, do what is right, do your best, and treat others the way you want to be treated. If there's one thing I've learned for sure over the years, is that good jobs come to good people. Be guided by some core values. In the Air Force, our core values were integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And if you're still struggling or having trouble identifying just what your talents, skills, or abilities might be, ask your family or close friends who know you best. What am I good at? What do I do naturally that seems almost effortless? And where do my passions lie? They will help you narrow down your search. Each one of you has a gift and a passion, and the world needs them. Don't go through life with a lot inside of you. During your school years, you have become accustomed to learning the lesson, and then comes the test. However, sometimes going forward in life, you get hit with a test, and then comes the lesson. Life, unfortunately, can be a series. Life, unfortunately, is not a series of mountaintop experiences where we experience success upon success. There will be times when we must walk or crawl through the valley. Valley experiences can be ugly and raw. The classic country music band, the Statler Brothers, had a song back in the 70s entitled The Class of '57. A line in the song goes like this: but living life day to day is never like it seems. Life gets complicated when you get past 18, but the class of '57 had its dreams. I had one of those valley experiences after I spent 4 years on active duty. I moved back home and transitioned into the Air Guard on a part-time basis, so it was time to find a full-time job. And after exploring many options, I settled on becoming a UPS driver. So I applied and was hired and started delivering packages. My first 30 days was the probationary period. On the 26th day of my probationary period, I was driving down a single-lane country road over by Bowling Green and got over to allow an oncoming car to pass. And as I steered back onto the road, my right mirror caught the edge of a railroad warning sign and caused it to swing and bust the glass in the mirror. And when I got back to the building, I wrote up the incidents of what has happened. The next day I come in, and I was told I was terminated. Needless to say, I was devastated. It was my first time in my life I'd ever been fired from a job. Now I was unemployed and had no other plan. But as a person of faith, I know that when God closes a door, somewhere another is open. And our job is to press on and find it. So many times, though, we become paralyzed. We look so long and so regretfully upon that closed door that we fail to press on and find the one that is open for us. The storms of life will reveal who you are. Will you be a quitter or a fighter? When you get knocked off your horse, get up, dust yourself off, get back on, press on. Accidents can happen and change your course in life. But you are not an accident, and neither was I. God had a purpose for me, and He has a purpose for you as well. Your mission is to find, follow, and finish that purpose He has for you. Sometimes, as in my situation, it's easy to think He's let us down because we missed what we thought was a great opportunity, but later we find one much more fulfilling to us. When your plan A fails, He has your plan B. Had I never been fired from that UPS job, I would probably still be working there today. I would have never gone to college, received my degree, obtained my commission, retired from the military, driven a school bus, or be standing before you here today. God causes all things to work together for good for those who love Him, who are called according to His purpose. Finally, if you don't remember a thing I said here today, I want you to remember this. I love you all, and I wouldn't tell you this if it were not so true. But many, many, many years from now, when you come to the end of life's journey and your time is at hand, you can have accumulated all the fame and fortune, power, prestige, toys, and stuff of this world. And as my mom used to say, it doesn't matter a hill of beans, because in the end, it's all wood, hay, and stubble. It's gone in a puff of smoke. The things that matter most in life, that endures forever, is your faith, your family, and your friends. Therein lies your gold, your silver, and your precious stones for all of eternity. Thank you for coming into my life and leaving footprints on my heart. I wish you all the best. Now, as the pilots in the jet fighter community say, it's time to kick the tires and light the fires. Class of 2022, you are cleared for takeoff. The skies are clear, the winds are calm, visibility unlimited. Go with throttle up. It's going to be a wild, wonderful, and exciting adventure, and I wish you all Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford, for that wonderful message. Class of 2022.